I understand what you're saying.
It's just, I mean, I'm just, listen to me, just jump right in and take control of this, right? What I'm saying is I know what it's like to be a daughter, and I know what it's like to be a mother. And the love of a mother and the love of a father, it doesn't even compare to the love of a child. Right, John?
I believe so. That's what I'm saying, yes.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean they don't love you. It's just a different love. It's just a different love.
Yep. Yep.
And it's okay. It's just the way it is. And boo-hoo for you and I, John.
I think a lot of it.
Life cycle.
I think a lot of it has to do with they don't realize some of the things that you do later in life. You know, what connection means and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and that was a little bit in what I forgot his name. This dude talked about, you know.
Yeah.
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 Dan. Right.
I loved his comments, you know, about Okinawa. One, that they don't retire, and two, that the older you get, the more you're held in higher esteem.
Right. Yeah, especially in the U.S.
You know, that yeah.
John, you and I just need to move.
Move? Why? Neither one of you are retired. Both of you are in the highest esteem you've ever been in. Come on, like, you've got your own Okinawa right here.
Yeah, right. You know what? I can change my mindset, and John can change his mindset. You can't change your family, and you can't change your society. You can only change what's within you. And there are societies that value the elderly, and there are societies that, like, whatever.
Good word. Good word.
Yeah.
Dad, do you see a whatever approach to you?
You could say that.
I'm not sure I've seen
No,
that.
I think very seriously, Kathy. You know, at your age and my age, you know, we are looking at things from a different standpoint, you know, than what I did when I was Fritz and especially Anna's age. I mean, you know.
How?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just seems like, you know, when you're younger, 40 looks old.
Oh, yeah.
Closer you get to 40, 60 looks old.
Mm-hmm.
Closer you get to 60, 80, and even 100 looks old, you know. But the closer you get to them, it just seems like, you know, and you start looking at what really does matter. You know, I was so blessed the whole time that I was working, because so many of my, whether you want to call them mentors or just older friends, you know, they were 20 years older than me. You know, I learned so much just by hanging with them and learning from them, you know. One man I had, Kathy, he was at least 20 years older than me, and it was unbelievable. If I would say, could I talk you into helping me with a project, he would be there before I was. You know, and I mean, it was just unbelievable. And I had that with a couple of other elderly people. At least I'll call them elderly now, you know, compared to situations. But, you know, and the older I get, the more I try to help out, especially those that I think appreciate it, you know, and everything. But
and plus, John, I would add, to your credit, you were asking. You were looking 20 years. You're a senior, and you were asking. So
absolutely.
I mean, there's wisdom you can offer at this stage that I can offer. There's to younger people, there's wisdom that people 40 can offer to 20. However, it's only for those that want it, those that are asking. And so, to your credit, I don't think there were that many people in our generation that were asking like you.
Yeah.
So I admire that. I mean, when I was younger, I wasn't asking because I thought I knew it all, and I didn't. So you're way ahead of the game, and I admire that for asking.
It's just a deal to where it won't be long before 20 more years are going to pass.
Mm-hmm.
And at whatever age a person is, they have to realize that and hold other people's knowledge, because like they always say, you know, you can either do it yourself or you can ask and see what other people who have gone through it have experienced, you know, and try to learn from other people's problems and trials, you know. Yeah. So I mean, it's just that kind of a deal. But you know, in this talk I have got for today, one of the things that I brought home to myself was years ago I started selling life insurance. And there's nothing worse, in my opinion, than selling something that abstract, because no one wants to talk about 40 and 60 years down the road a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
One of the key things that I got from that was that so many people, when they do get of age where they want to retire or should be able to retire, they don't have the money. You know, they were talking about 1% of the people are able to retire and do anything they wanted. Yeah. Another 2 or 3%, you know, could do just about anything, had a comfortable lifestyle. But the vast, vast majority, you know, like 95% of the people, a lot of them still had to work, or their lifestyle was just cut to shreds, you know. And in giving that talk, as many times as I gave it, it finally sunk into my head, you know. And so many people have got the philosophy, you know, you can either live now or you can have a life later. And I think you really do have that kind of a choice for most people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I know so many people that have really enjoyed their life immensely when they're young, and thank God they have got children or grandkids that can help them now, because they don't have a pot to poop in. And of course, as you get older, then that's when your health starts to go haywire and you need help, you know. So whatever. You know, that's just.
And ultimately, it's not about the money.
No.
I mean, yes, money gives you a great lifestyle, and you can travel, and you can flit around and do all that stuff. But you can still, wherever you go, you're there. And if you don't have your stuff together, you haven't come to peace with yourself and with God and with your purpose and your passion, then it doesn't matter how much money you have. It just doesn't matter.
Very, very true. Very true.
So it's balance. Well, there you go.
That was my presentation.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Anything to say?
Well, how about we start off with a positive focus? We haven't even started it yet. That was just the prelude to everything. I think we have a couple people looking like they're trying to get on. I think Caroline's probably just struggling to get on right now. Hopefully she can give us a call. Anna, can you just text her that she can call in?
Yeah.
Go the computer.
Yeah.
Who wants to start with a positive focus?
I sure can.
Do it, Anna.
My positive focus is that today was a beautiful day, and yesterday Brant and I did a tour to Indiana to pick up our new mower, and it is fabulous. I mowed with it all day today. So I'm really excited about that. That's my positive focus. So.
It is pretty positive. Nice. How about you,
Yeah.
Dad?
We had such a glorious day yesterday. DJ, my newest daughter, no, not my newest daughter, anyway, DJ, the 13-year-old, had gotten out, I think, all but a couple of horses and had worked with them, groomed them, lunged them, jumped on their backs, spent all day yesterday, had a trainer come and help get her ideas. Dina got out, and between a little bit Friday and all day Saturday and a little bit today, they've got 3 new rows of strawberries because the weeds have taken over the old ones. And it's just been fabulous to be outside and enjoy it.
Yes.
That's my positive focus.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
How about you, Kathy?
Well, my positive focus is my husband and I are celebrating our anniversary today, 18 years.
Very
And,
good.
So next weekend we're going to go down and spend 4 or 5 days at Trump and just party in Chicago next weekend. And then also, it's just a totally family thing. My grandchildren have just left, and my grandson was in a gymnastics meet, and my granddaughter, she sang some sacred music, so it was just total family positive weekend.
Very good. Very good. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it is family, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I'm really stoked. We got to get to travel to a place I've never been this week. Jenny and Lisa and Jared and I will all be going to Anguilla, which I've never been to. It's a little Caribbean island. So I think Jenny and Lisa have had their eye on it for a while. So I'm happy to be going.
Well, that sounds great. When are you leaving?
Tuesday.
Ooh, how fun.
Is this a 1 week or a 2 week?
2.
Very good. Very good.
Well, good. What are you guys going to do?
Well, I'm not sure. I think Jenny has that all planned out. She usually does a pretty good job of planning that. I usually can just go along for the ride on this one. I'm sure it'll be pretty fun, but I'm not sure exactly how what we're going to be doing at this point.
Yeah, very good.
You're in a good spot. You just show up.
That's right.
That's the best.
You're smart.
That's the best way to have it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. Hey, Kay.
Hey, Kay.
You're just in time for your positive focus.
Oh, good. Okay, so I got to see all of my family over the weekend, most of them anyways. And we went on some college visits Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. And we went to Ohio State, University of Cincinnati, Miami, and I really, really liked Miami. And you really, really like what? Miami University. Cool. Cool.
Nice. What'd you like about Miami?
It was really pretty. It was really pretty. And the people there were very nice and personable. It was kind of the vibe I got from it. And the vibe was welcoming and homey. Mhm. Oh.
Good. Good. All right. Well, Dad, you want to get us started?
Well, basically, I should be talking to mainly Kay and Kathy, since they're the ones that don't know as much about me, and this is not going to be a big deal anyway. But it just tells you, Kathy, that I was the second of 11 kids, and because of that, I ended up being a little bit like my mother, and the sister just below me was also, to where we were kind of held responsible for helping with the younger ones. So because of that, we got a great love for the little ones and everything. And I said that to Kay's mother the other day, and she said that she thought she got a little bit of that, because every time at church, whenever she sees a baby, she runs over and introduces herself. Is that right, Kay?
Mm-hmm.
See? So got a big love for the kids, and I really think that that is your biggest asset that a person can have and everything. So that's where that's at. We didn't have much by having a child born every 13 to 18 months, you know. And Lou, you said that you didn't know whether you could have that many that quick, right?
Okay. Just joining on, so I'm catching up.
Okay. But anyway, you know, I often think, Kathy, that my mother was the saintly image that we had growing up, because she really did devote her whole life to the family and everything, and she just cherished the kids and everything. Of course, we were raised pretty much with hand-me-down clothes and everything, and it really wasn't a big deal. Nobody made a big deal out of it. You know, it's a little bit like Dolly Parton and her coat of many colors, you know. We thought we were rich, didn't know it, you know, because we always had somebody to fight with, you know. You know, had the opportunity to go to school in Kentucky for 2 years, a college prep school, because I was the only one that even showed any desire whatsoever to go to college. Was able to go to college after I worked for about the time I was 7, mowing yards and passing papers, until I graduated and everything, and got to Purdue, and transferred from one major to another, and tried to pick up things like Stephen Jobs that stuck with me. And one of those things was, there's 2 ways to make a living, and one of them is you work, and the other one is get money to work for you. And when you definitely don't have any money to work for you, you kind of start thinking, you know, that you need to start working on setting money aside so that sometime later that money can work for you. Because just like Kay's father mentioned to me a couple of years back, you know, he would really like to slow down by the time he's 40. I don't think he's got there yet, but, you know, that's something that a lot of people aspire to. And I know in my occupation, my body started talking to me big time when I was in my late 40s, and it just got worse as life went on. So I tried to figure out how to get money to help me a little bit. And like I said earlier, Kathy, that deal where I sold life insurance really kind of kicked me in gear, because when they talk about so many people that when they get ready to retire, there's not that much money there to retire on. I remember my father, who was very much into bookkeeping, and he was an accountant, Kathy, that he often thought that if he had $250,000 and he invested it in CDs, that he would be in good shape. Now, you know very well that that won't get you very far today. And by the time Kay and her aunts and her mother get to that age, they're going to need a bit more than that in order to make it. So now's the time to start thinking about investing for the future. But of course, how do you invest, Kathy, for the future when you've got the present that's pretty much trying to take everything you've got, you know? And that does get to be a challenge. My father always made the comment, and I've said it many times over, that he told me since he was an accountant and did my taxes that I would be better off going fishing than being in the business I was in, because every penny I made go back into the business, either for new equipment, more inventory, or whatever, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of thoughts from him kind of spurred me on to maybe dig a little deeper and try to prove him wrong or whatever, you know, to where, you know, I was working a lot of hours, and I'm sure that Lou could testify to that. But the beauty of what I chose to do was a lot like a farmer, because the farmer gets to have his family around him and gets to share his values a bit with them and everything. And I think that that is so important, that they were able to see, you know, what it took for me to help them have a better life and everything. And then now they've got the opportunity to try to have that better life, you know, for their family and everything. And everything changes, so you've got to be able to adapt however you can to it. But these are just some of the random thoughts that I have come up with over this past week and everything. The other one is, because of the tapes that I've had you look at, I firmly believe, and it's probably one of them because I'm a learner or whatever that one strength is, that you try, because we had a principal in high school, and he said you have to learn something new every day. And the principal was constantly saying that to all of the students and everything. And I do believe that you've got to try to continually strive to get ahead and to understand what's out there, because you never know. I mean, I am still looking for a good job. And with my knees the way they are, it better come pretty quick, you know. So that's kind of how it is. Kay has got the strength of being an adapter, which is fabulous, because that is probably one of the biggest things with technology and everything else changing like it is today. You have got to be able to adapt and to change. And so many people my age and younger, they don't want to learn the computer, and they don't want to get a new phone because it took them a long time just to figure out the old one, and they're going to keep it till they die, you know, or it dies for them, you know. But that's one of the deals that we've kind of have and everything. The thing that I really liked about the one of Dan's topics was the fact that, you know, as he said, the older you get, the more you are celebrated and everything, because I think that so many older people are not utilized to the best that they can be and everything. I mean, yep, a lot of us are getting forgetful, and dementia's around the corner and everything else, but there's a lot of people that still have a lot of good ideas. And just like they were talking about in Okinawa, you know, I don't think that a person should even consider retiring. I don't think there should be a word retire, because as long as you're able to like the people in Sardinia, chop wood or go to the grocery store and get, things that the family needs, or can even babysit like the lady on Okinawa. I mean, anything like that is just invaluable. I would love to have somebody that could take Eunice, and teach her things, at her young age. And the thing of it is, that's probably what I'm going to resort to, is as soon as she's able to run around more, because I've already got her on the tractor and she knows how to drive the tractor, and that's how that goes. Probably scares Lou a little bit, the thought of me putting the baby on the tractor, and
Definitely does.
Even
having a drive before she can walk.
Well, what was it? Somebody said, flying a plane before you could drive a car legally, and all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, I'd love for her to learn languages. And with Terry's influence over here, I mean, Terry is just, that's my oldest sister, who's a year younger than me, Kathy. She's all the time, trying to push her grandkids, as far as she can. She was a teacher, and all the kids are 2 and 3 levels above any of the others when they even start to school and everything. So that's kind of the deal. But my parting thought is kind of the one that I got from one of my sisters, to where she always would make the comment, be patient with me because God's not finished, and that is without a doubt the truth on all of us. I mean, we just have got to keep trying to be better people all our lives and everything. So, I mean, the only other thing I can think of right now is that comment about that Steve Jobs had about, keep trying until you find something that your heart really wants to do, and your heart knows. You just have to be patient enough to get the word on it and everything. So, very, very short, very sweet, Kathy. There's not much important in my life, but, that's where it's at now.
I think that's all very important.
Yep.
So, Dad, go on, Nana.
So I was curious, when you said that you're still looking for a job, you're still looking for your job, do you mean like you're still looking for that thing that you want to spend your time doing?
Yeah, I mean, I still don't feel like, what was that other strength I've got, achiever or maximizer or whatever.
Yeah, the maximizer.
You're never, ever, ever satisfied. And like Lou could probably point out, I was always trying to challenge everybody to keep striving to do better. You go in stages, you go to elementary, then you go to middle, then you go to high school, then you go to college, and then you just keep doing the next thing to make your life more worthwhile, more important to yourself, I guess, because that's who you're ultimately trying to please, is yourself. So, you just got to figure out where you put your values as to what's is most important for you, and right now with the little one, that's where a lot of it is, because like I said, I still feel like your children are your greatest asset, much more than any money. Of course, they're also the ones, Kathy, and you probably well know, they're the ones that's going to tear your heart out the most too.
Right, right.
Yeah. So that's it. Okay, you got any questions? You probably know all that stuff anyway.
I did know most of that.
Okay, yeah.
What's your greatest achievement?
Without a doubt, the children. Without a doubt.
Which one in particular?
No, don't have one in particular. Don't have one in particular.
That was a trick question.
Probably, but you take them all individually, and everybody's got their strengths and everything. I mean, Lou, when she graduated summa cum laude, my chest was bigger than anything. Of course, in high school, she was always doing so good, and always had more effort into the goats, the schoolwork, anything she tried, So, I mean, you're always, super proud of them. You wish them the best, but, they never see life the way you do, and that's probably for the good, Hopefully you got a little bit that you can pass on, It's just like DJ now is taking an interest in the horses, and she has learned so much in just 4 lessons about life as well as training anybody, anything, So I'm just, thrilled with what she's picking up and everything. So, it's just like that comment that they had in one of our others, that when you do something for someone else, that's more fulfilling than doing anything for yourself. And that's really the truth of the matter. You're trying to help. It's like all the trips that we took, Kathy, because we showed goats all over the United States, and it took a lot of money, time, and effort to work with the goats and the children to make that as successful as what it turned out to be. But I think all of them got something very dear out of it. At one time, Lou made the comment to her husband before they were married, love me, but you better love my goats. So she was putting the goats up there pretty high, in her life. But, and I still say that my second daughter would never have been a nurse had it not been for my crude way of giving shots to goats, because I'd punch them in the thigh, the goat would jump 2 foot, of course the needle would come out, I'd punch them again, the goat would jump, the needle would come out, and she got so upset with me that she just stood over the top of them and just harpooned that needle into their thigh. And of course, they couldn't jump because she was on top of them. And she became a nurse because of it.
Sure.
So that's how it goes. But by spending the time that I was able to spend with them, because we kind of worked as a family unit and everything. Everybody got the chance, even Lou, to clean carpet with the wand. Lou was always the best one in the world to put the very, very, very top of the haystack in the barn, because she would turn the reddest, and she would light up the entire surroundings, you know, and she could get redder than a beet up there real high. So, you know, that's just the way it was. So, but I think I'm going to have one here that's going to rival Anna as far as wandering off after butterflies when she's able to walk. Because
I was walking her the other day, and she was like enthralled with one, and I was like, oh no.
Yep. She's got a great capacity for curiosity, and I am trying to encourage it immensely. You know, I accuse the mother of spoiling her, which she has, but I probably am going to be worse and spoiling her more, because as soon as possible, I'm going to be taking her with me and teach her how to clean carpet and install. And Fritz started cleaning carpet when he was 5, Kathy, and we'd go out the whole day, and I'd have him doing the same thing that I would pay an adult to do. You know. And I've already talked to DJ about hiring a 16-year-old for this summer to work with her so that she can go out and do things. So, you know, that's part of trying to promote them to greater heights.
So, Dad, how did you decide what it is you wanted to do? So when you're in Kay's age, like, how did you decide what to start off in college, and then how did you know what to switch around to?
Kay, how good are you at American history?
I don't know. I'm fine at it.
1965. Who was the major employer at that time?
Don't know.
The U.S. government sending young men to Vietnam. And everybody went there. The wages for a college graduate was around $10,000 if you could find a job. But everybody, man-wise anyway, was pretty much asked very politely to join the fight over in Vietnam. So that's where I went, or got into the service anyway, but I didn't believe in the Vietnam War because they weren't even trying to win. But the biggest thing was to I already had a family started by the time I graduated and everything. And with the idea of having a family, you had to support them, because that's one thing that my grandfather and my father kind of showed me, that was the main purpose for a guy, was to be the breadwinner for the family and everything, the old traditional family life, you know. So basically, I knew I couldn't work for anybody else because I'd already tried that. So the only thing I could do, and my father told me, Kay, at one time when I was 17, that you'll never get ahead working for the other guy. And the main reason he said that was because the government knows how much you're making, and they are definitely going to get their share. And that's where he encouraged self-employment and everything. So basically, I was looking at self-employment, something that I could do. I was very quick at learning things, so I tried carpentry for a while, and I liked it, but the money wasn't there. So I thought, look around for something that maybe you can get into, and I was dumb enough to get into what I did. And the thing of it is, like Stephen Jobs, he was the one that talked about perseverance so much, but whatever you get into, if you really persevere, give it all you've got, and commit to it, you can make it work. And it's 14 to 16 hours a day for 6 days a week. I was committed. And see, hardly anybody wanted to do that back then either. Is that right, Kathy?
That's right.
You know, so I knew that I wanted to put money back for later. I wanted to give my family all that I possibly could. And, you know, and we went through some good times, because I remember, Kathy, when interest rates went up to about 18% back in the 70s. And I was eating a lot of hot dogs and pork and beans, you know, to get that paid off before it crippled me, because at that interest rate, that was rough. So,
What were you needing to borrow money on?
Borrowed money on equipment. The carpet cleaning machine that I bought, the banker didn't think that I needed something like that. He had never heard of somebody that cleaned carpets for a living. Thought that was the dumbest thing he had ever heard of, and definitely wouldn't loan me the money. And here I was, a college graduate by then, had 2 children and everything. And he says, well, if your father is crazy enough to do it, bring him in, and if he co-signs, then, you know, I'll give you just enough to buy the bare essentials. So that's how you had to do it.
So Grandpa did come in and co-sign with you?
Uh-huh. Yep.
For an interest rate of how much? 16, 18%?
I don't know what it was.
What kind of a credit risk were you that you needed a cosigner in order to get an 18% loan? Jesus.
Back then, you know, the bankers were gods, and unless it was something that was normal, like a farmer,
Well, they were
need money
really kind of betting against you, weren't they?
Well, the thing of it is, like I said, he did not ever think that cleaning carpet, and at the time, Kathy, in our county alone, there were 22 other carpet sales companies. When I went in to apply for a retail merchant certificate, the lady made the sarcastic remark, that's just what we need is another carpet company, you know, in the county, you know. So.
But you outlived them.
Do what?
I said you outlived them.
Well, you know, that's about the only way I've succeeded, Kathy, is I've outlasted them.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And plus, I think you go back then, and even now, and you look at the debt to equity ratio, and say what you will, but if you take a single man, and you take a man that's married with a couple of kids, it's a totally different ballgame because of your priority. And if you're a single man, you've got a whole lot more control of your life and what you want to do with it than if you're a married man and your wife is part of that consideration and your children. So it's, and to me, it's black and white.
Yeah. Well, you know what was always interesting to me?
Of your success.
Yeah. I can remember when Lou got her first job out of college.
Oh,
making more money. Then the next 2 years later, the next nerd did the same thing in nursing, making money than what we were. Really makes you wonder, you know. That's the way it is. Getting a book, you have a slow connection, so I may have to go to the phone after a bit. So, you got any questions about my life? I mean, you were there for most of it.
I was there for 20-some years, mostly.
Yeah. Anna?
You sent over a video that I really, really, really enjoyed. And I got a lot of good ideas from it. But one of them was know your ikigai, your purpose. I don't remember what country or whatever it was that when they woke up in the morning, they knew what they were waking up for. They knew what they were going to be doing that day because they knew what they were living for. What would be your ikigai today?
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I'm asking you that though.
Nothing that makes me that maximizer achiever that I am, you know. I feel like there's a lot more that I should be doing, you know.
So your ikigai would be that you're waking up going, what more can I do today?
What can I do today? Yeah, what can I do today?
What can I get done today?
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Kathy, what do you think your ikigai is?
Well, clearly it's my children, my family. That is what drives me, and everything stems from that. There's nothing more important than, you know, my spouse, my children, and my grandchildren, and everything I do goes back to that. I mean, that's my fuel. That's my source of energy.
you know, Kathy, if you didn't have told us and we had to guess, that's probably exactly what I would have guessed for you. Like, that's not surprising at all.
Well, you know what? I think the love is so deep. It's just so deep that I want to be all that I can be to be more to them. And the more I am to them, the more I can be to others, and the more I can give back. And one of in Dan's talks, he talked about, I don't know if the word he used was the 2 times of greatest risk in your life is that when you're born, that first year of infant mortality, and the year that you retire because you lost your purpose. Because that's how our society is set up. Oh, I'm going to retire at 40. Well, what we do, I think our society is so misguided. It's so money-driven, and I'm not minimizing the power of money. I'm not minimizing the places you can go and the things you can do. But I'm telling you, it does not. When you lay your head down at night, it doesn't matter what that number is in the bank account. If you don't have purpose, if you don't have those family connections, the love that he talked about, the tribe that he talked about, you know, I can see where people die at a younger age. And so I think that's so important all through life to have that, and not be misguided by the lure of fame and fortune and money. And I'm not throwing that under the bus. I'm just saying because there's things that allows you to do. It gives you more choices. It gives you more options and all that. But it doesn't fulfill you. And having purpose and passion and love and connection and commitment, that's where I have found the purpose is that fuels everything else in my life. And I listened to a gal last night, and she talked about all of our lives are rippled with joy and with sorrow, with happiness, with pain. I mean, there's no one life that is just perfect.
Yep.
And so I think in the midst of that, in the midst of the journey, it's about knowing your purpose and passion and loving without limits, just loving without limits. Those are close. Those that are closest to you first and foremost, and then just let that ripple out to and contribute to the less fortunate. And
One of the quotes on that page was, "Be the person that your dog thinks you are or wants you to be," whatever it was. And I think that is so true in life on so many levels, you know, because especially when you get older, you've got to have that desire to do the best for everybody you can, and hopefully they will get it, I guess.
mm-hmm.
You know. So.
You know, I think a really simple example is that we have so many friends that take off for 6 months, they winter somewhere else, they go to the Caribbean, they go to Florida, wherever they want to go, and that's fine, and that's certainly an option that Wayne and I have, and I don't want to go because I don't want to leave my family. There will be a time when my grandchildren are older, and they'll be with 5 more years, and they'll be with their friends, and they're not going to want to hang around. And you know what? Then we can go do whatever we want to do. But you know what? I am not cashing in those years with my grandchildren to go vacation on some exotic island every 3 or 4. I don't want it. I want to be with them. That is where the joy is, and everybody's got to figure that out for themselves.
Well, you know, I don't think I want to go too many places because I still think that there's the least bit of stuff that I can do to help someone else, you know. And just like Louisa could tell you, you know, I don't like to go too many places unless they got something for me to do.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
You know, there's got to be a good reason to go. Otherwise, I can stay around here and I can do some little thing for somebody, you know.
No.
Yeah, he knows. I'll keep him busy.
I know.
There's things I want him to do.
And I think the beautiful part is everybody's got to figure out what works for them, you know.
Yep.
So I'm not saying this is the way it's got to be. I'm just saying this is the way it is for me, and I'm good with it. And
Kathy, if I may, this is Louisa, and I haven't met you really until today. So hello for me. But I just want to thank you so much for what you just said, because that is verbatim my feelings of a few months ago when I had an opportunity to go on a trip, and I felt like very few people understood my reasons for staying home. But it's exactly what you said, that my priorities are here, and I really hate to miss even a moment with these 4 beautiful kids that God has given me.
yeah.
And their lives are just so exciting, and there's
Yeah.
just so much joy that they give me, and there's so many things I can do for them that I really just don't like to miss out on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm with you. It's a truth for me.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, what would your Ikigai be, Lou? Did you watch the video?
I did watch the video, and I think, you know, it will sound, you know, a little bit like what Kathy said, because I get up in the morning wondering, you know, what can I do for my family? What can I do for my friends that are close to me, for other people that maybe are in my church, or, you know, how can I be open to opportunities to serve other people, and just to help make somebody else's life a little easier.
Yeah.
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 Sounds good.
Go ahead, Caroline, you
What
can
about-
share.
Yeah,
Caroline has an ikigai too.
Yeah, my ikigai is to wake up and make sure I pass this physics class that I'm in.
Your purpose for living is to pass that class.
Now,
It's a college physics class.
now what
I'm
about the
trying to
physics
pass.
class when you're done? When you're done with the physics class, then what will it be?
Well, then I move on to the next,
The calculus
the
class.
the AP calculus class. Oh,
Mm,
I'm just kidding. Not really, but.
So what about you, Fritz? What's yours?
Well, my primary question is that's kind of what we're doing, like a little bit. I feel like primary question I can always ask myself is just how can I better serve? So I'm always asking how can I better serve? How can I make this better?
Is that like your mission statement?
Well, that's my primary question. It's the question that just always runs through my head. My mission statement is like the purpose of my life is to be an inspiring leader who lives to love and serve others. So that's what I like.
I'm about.
For me, everything's about leveraged contribution. If there's any way I can leverage how much I contribute to other people, I'm just trying to optimize how much I can help others. Because even to take like a week away, to me, like all it does is allow me downtime in order to tear back into it much harder and come back clear
Right.
and come back more leveraged than what I was before. It's about habit 7. Okay, it's about sharpening the saw. So it's if I can do things smarter, more leveraged. That's the whole reason that's why I do anything I'm doing, is either to serve someone or try to figure out how I can actually serve them better.
Do you have a target group?
On who to serve and whatnot? With the leveraged approach, I usually try to, for me, like I try to focus on serving those who serve other people. So again, kind of moving the lever back as far as it could possibly be, you know. If I can teach the teachers, if I can serve the servants of others, that's kind of who I try to serve. But at the same time, like to me, as you know, like family's amazingly core because like there'd be a lot of things that'll kind of come and go, but family's not one of those things. So you have to stay very, 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 at least my thought, you have to stay very, very well connected in that sense.
Mhm.
It's interesting, even when I'm with my team, even last week, I very rarely see the team that I work with on a regular basis. Like I'll talk to them, sometimes, well, at least once a week, I'll have meetings with all of them individually and then everyone once a week. And they're constantly, my thoughts, we're constantly working on things, but I don't really particularly enjoy like meeting with them and doing social activities with them and stuff like that. We work together, like we contribute, we do stuff like that. It's very like they're my tribe, like I take care of them, I really appreciate them. I mean, heck, I have 2 gratitude letters along with bonuses to go out that I wrote today for them. But at the same time, like it's interesting because that area of my life is relatively quarantined from other areas. So it's interesting that way.
Help me understand that. I don't understand that. What do you mean it's relatively quarantined?
you could say that I'm relatively intense whenever I get to serving people and we get going after a real goal. Intensity levels go up quite a bit. So usually there's only so much of me that anyone can handle. Caroline, I hear you giggling.
Yes,
I don't know what you're talking about.
but it is a way of motivating. I know sometimes that's hard for Brant to realize because sometimes I'll get stressed, but it's helpful for me as a person on your team, kind of a thing, just to know that I'm being held accountable for these things, and they're the most important things. And even though they're not something I'm excited to dive into, it's something that's important to dive into. And sometimes I get stressed before a call or after a call, but it's a good thing because that's why you're the leader. That's why you're the inspiring leader. Like, you have to have that person, so you've got to be that person, or like you said, we wouldn't get as much done, we wouldn't be as leveraged. But did you mean like quarantine, being like you were saying, like that part of your life is kind of separate from your family life?
From family, yeah, from family life.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a little different. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I feel as though, like, I treat them as family. I would, but
Right.
I mean, it's not it's one of those things where, yeah, family holds a really special place to where people don't have to be accountable in like a family setting versus like core values through which I work through for people that I work with and whatnot. They're very it's a very opt-in type thing on core values. Like, everyone does things very differently for very different reasons, and we have different things in common where we have a family around very different core values. We always do what we say we're going to do, and if you don't, then like each one of them will take off their sock, put in a piece of soap, and then beat the person who didn't actually do what they said they're supposed to do. Because like that's what we do. Like, you do what you say you're gonna do. You pick up your game. You do, like, because like people who really value being around other people who do that. So like it's just it's just a little bit different. But it's cool to kind of find those groups where you have that commonality, and it doesn't have to be a company or anything like that. It can be a church. It could be anything where a belief is commonly held, and you kind of work together with that. So didn't mean to off track us a ton, but that's a little bit of kind of like ikigai. Like, I really enjoy being able to help more and more people, and I love the challenge of being able to kind of step it up a little bit more all the time. Like, last year when we hit 100 people a day that we were serving, I was like, I was happy only for a brief fleeting moment, and then it was, how do I serve 1,000 a day? And
that was your achiever in there.
Yeah, so I mean, it just took it right to the next level. Okay, so now what? Now we're gonna go to 1,000. Cool. Well, this last quarter we hit 300 a day, over 300 a day. So that was three times growth in one quarter. So like, that was ridiculous.
Nice.
But at the same time, like, now it's just like, okay, how do we keep leveraging? How do we make that, like, so now we set the goal as 1 million people by the end of 2020, which is a horrendously large goal, but hopefully it'll feel pretty small here in another year or so.
Nice.
So little by little, we'll just kind of continue kind of making a larger impact. seeing how we can serve more people all the time.
Cool.
But basically, it's just about what makes you happy, like what kind of, like what keeps you pushing,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for Strength Finder, I think, Dad, Anna, and I are the only ones that I think I've measured of all the 50, 60 people at this point that have Maximizer in the 1 through 5. Oh, and Jane. Not to forget Jane. Jane Buggleboo does too. So it's a blessing and a curse to have that particular strength.
Has mom done this quiz? Do you know?
No, I don't think I do have one for her. I would love for you to. Lou, would you do it if I got you a code? Would you take the Strength Finder?
Sure.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Awesome.
We would love that. I would love that.
Mom
I'll
did
be
it
happy
too.
to.
Mom did it. You would absolutely be you'd be floored by her results. They were beautiful.
Really?
They're beautiful.
Great.
It just explained so much about her. It was just you can see why she's so incredibly happy doing what she does right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. I'd love to see that too.
Yeah. Completely.
I think I have that sheet.
Yeah,
Lou,
probably did it.
Yes.
how do you think that we could best serve the younger bunch? Walter, Jane, VJ, the topics we're talking about now, is that too far above? Where can we go to better include them?
Well, I have to admit I have not watched all the videos and things every week. The ones that I have watched, have been excellent. I think the time is one thing you can look at because the attention spans are not as long as an adult. So one thing would be just kind of limiting to maybe 10-15 minutes, and then if they take notes and you maybe have a shorter call for them might be a little more energizing.
Yeah.
But all the topics that I've seen, have had a lot to offer for them, and they're not getting it anywhere else, as far as school or clubs or things. I know Caroline's getting many things here that she's not exposed to other places. It's really propelling her into readiness for life and probably college and things like that. Caroline, you had an idea too?
Yeah. So I was thinking maybe if we looked back through some of maybe the videos that we've done, like we did in the beginning when we were just starting out, or back through the videos we've done, if we found some that we thought would be good. Just if we kind of started, I don't know. I had an idea and I don't know how to say it. So never mind.
Hey, Kate, you remember like after the first year I asked you to put together your favorite 10 videos?
Yeah.
I had this in mind. That you would change throughout that time period because, like it's impossible to stay the same as you grow older, and plus, as knowledge gains upon itself, it would be really hard for you now to think of which ones you really enjoyed then, Yeah. So I can go back to those because I saved those, and that might be a source that we could revisit because.
Yeah. If we started something kind of building up, just kind of as we have done, how we started,
sure,
with the basic concepts and connecting the dots and all that stuff. Or even, I was thinking if you wanted to turn it kind of, I don't know, but if they all read like the first chapter of the 7 Habits over, like if you did it every 2 weeks or what, I don't know, if they all had to read the first chapter of the 7 Habits and then they all got on and they all discussed it.
You think they could do it? You think they would do it?
Yeah.
And there's a 7 Habits for Teens also, isn't there?
That's one I had.
Sure. Okay, so they could maybe start there.
Yeah. If they could read that and then talk about the first chapter, and then how they have the baby steps at the end, then they could talk about the baby steps and what they're going to do this coming week to incorporate those baby steps into their lives. Maybe something like that.
I think it'd be amazing.
You're the ideator, Fritz.
I think that's fantastic. Okay, I would love that. What do I need to do? Do I just need to get some books over to everybody so that way they have a book?
I think, okay, I have the book and Walt can just borrow mine. I think Emma has the book too. So Jane can probably just, I can check, I can double check with Emma.
That sounds like a fantastic idea. I would love every bit of that.
So I don't know if Walt has it.
I think that's great.
I want to be on those too. Are those going to be like with our normal I Live calls too? Are they going to be like, is it going to be a separate call for just those guys?
Well, we can work that out. I feel
I don't think it's excited.
I feel like 7 Habits. You can almost never get enough of that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll agree.
But Kay, I know like specifically for you, you're interested also in like, or at least we had discussed kind of things like, like career paths, things like that. You know what I mean? Businesses, how to actually start them, what to actually, like mechanically, how did it work? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can talk a little bit more about that. I have Charlotte coming on the call here in a few weeks.
Woohoo!
We can sprinkle them in. A few weeks. She hasn't given me an exact date, but it'll either be the week after next or that following week after that. I'll get you the exact date whenever I know. And you can, of course, you can ask her any questions you'd like. Yeah, we can set them up either together, with everyone together, or separate, whichever way you would like to do it. If we want, I can just tell her to hold it if you want for a little while, but I want to make sure that you're finding value, and everyone else is as well.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't want you to lose any traction.
Not that you teaching the 7 Habits will in any way be a negative thing at all, because no, you'll be teaching them because you've learned them.
Oh no.
We'll be here to help and support you.
Okay. Okay. So Mom and I need to get off now. Anna, do you mind taking down goals for me? And I can box you guys prizing. And I failed everything, just so y'all know.
Oh, come on.
Not everything.
Come on.
Yeah, I really did.
You didn't fail the
Habit
workouts.
7 and work out 3 times.
There's no 4 times each
There's
week.
no way she failed workouts because we walked on 3 campuses and we went to Zumba.
That's not a workout. Zumba's a workout. The walking's not workout.
I thought it was a workout.
Not a workout.
Okay.
Okay.
You define your own workouts, Kay.
Yep. I define them, Mama.
Okay.
That's not it. And this week's gonna be rough. I don't know what my goals are gonna be this week. I don't know.
I'll help you, honey.
I don't know, because I have drama club practice until 9 every single night. Because we have the show, and then we have the show this weekend, so I'm not getting anything in except drama club and maybe some homework.
That is the goal this week.
That is the goal, to get my homework done.
And to get some sleep.
And to be sane. And woo, okay.
Sleep and homework and maybe a couple bottles of water.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh, water's a good idea. Let's do water this week.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
How much water are you going to drink every day?
I'm going to do 60 ounces a day.
Okay.
Yeah. Okie dokie. I will see you all later. Bye, Kathy. Bye, Grandpa. Bye, Fritz and Anna.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
See you
everyone.
later,
Have a good
guys.
week.
Bye.
No.
Bye.
I have to hop off too. I have a business call at 8 o'clock. So my goals are the same 4 times a week, and I love you all, and till next week.
Thank you so much,
I'll see
Kathy.
you last week.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Appreciate you being here.
And the 3 amigos. Okay.